to another episode of Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. I'm Terry, that's Nick, and we have some good games to break down today. Ellie Goulding for this theme intro song. Where are you now? Yeah. Cale Makar, yes. The Avalanche last night, that was a great game. I did have them on the puck line and in regulation, which kind of sucked, but my book gave me 2 boosted live bets for that game. So before I went to bed kind of early. Before I went to bed, I thought, oh, okay, I'll go look. And the Avalanche, with the boosted bet, it came to like plus 263 for Avalanche money line. So I'm like, hey, they've been a team that comes back. I'll use that as one of my live bets, and it cashed. So that was really nice. The Avalanche got it done there in overtime, and they're off to the Stanley Cup final. And they will await one of the 2 teams, which we will be talking about here shortly. Is that a Warren Sapp tarp, Earl?
Yes, it is Warren Sapp. Yeah. Yeah. This is the closest to a Tampa Bay jersey I can find. So that's what I rocked with today.
Hey, that's pretty cool that Toby gets that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, props.
But we will jump into today's slate. I picked 4 baseball games. Last pitch will probably be a bit longer because Nick and I both really like this slate today. My biggest card of the month so far. So lots of bets to give out on the show. We'll start with the first one here. Not a game that people would usually think that I would choose, but the Cubs are in Baltimore. Minus 120 for the Cubs, plus 100 for Baltimore, a total of 8.5. Normally, both of these teams are not teams that I really look to back. I would probably look to fade both of them. But there is a pretty big advantage here for the Cubs pitching-wise. Keegan Thompson, I didn't really know anything about him coming into the year, but he's 6-0 in 12 games. He's won his last 3. He gave up 3 earned runs in his last game, and that's kind of a bad game for him. He got the win, 5 hits against, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts in 5.1 innings. And like I said, yeah, that's one of his bad games. So he's pitched really well for the Cubs. On the other side here, Baltimore pitching, it is Kyle Bradish on the mound here. 2 no decisions and a loss in his last 3 games. 4.2 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs against Seattle. Against Boston, he lasted 1.2 innings, giving up 6 hits, 6 earned runs, and then lost against Tampa Bay, giving up 5 hits and 5 earned runs in 5 innings. He's giving up earned runs. The Cubs are coming in here, and I like them. I like them first 5, which I got minus 115, and full game, which I got for minus 108. I think this is a good spot for the Cubs with the pitching advantage. And they've been a sneaky team at points in this year, so I look for them to get the win here. Nick, Cubs and Orioles, any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm also on the Cubbies in this spot here, and I've been a little bit further with them. And what I've been doing a little bit lately is I've been testing out a little bit of a theory. I'm going with that. If I like a favorite on the money line, I just take the run line in every single game. Because one thing that I've noticed here, and I'm calculating the number for it right now, for favorites with the run line, because favorites this year are 482 and 325, but when they win the game straight up, so if you like the favorite to win the game, they cover the run line. When the favorite wins straight up, they cover the run line 73% of the time. So if you're taking a favorite, you are more beneficial to just take the run line at that big plus price tag and go for a bigger score than taking them on the money line. So that's what I went with the Cubs here. Yes, I really do like Keegan Thompson. who is, I believe, 6-0 this year as well. Like he's been getting the run support from the Cubs as well. And the Cubs, I think, are a little bit of a sneaky team. Obviously, they're 9 games under, so they're not super sneaky because they're still not great. But when Keegan Thompson's on the mound, if you're 6-0 with a team that is 9 games under 500, I think that says a little bit something about you. So yeah, I took a shot with the Cubbies here, fading Kyle Bradish, who just hasn't been good. So I took the Cubbies' first 5 in full games on the run lines here. I got plus 110 for the first 5 run line. I got plus 155 for the full game run line.
All right. Hey, taking it a little bit a step further than me, but I wish you luck. There'd be nothing greater than a blowout in this game. We'll move on to the next one here. This game I really, really like here. The Dodgers minus 125 are in Chicago, facing the White Sox, plus 105. In this one, a total of 8.5. The Dodgers are coming out here on the road, coming off a series against the Mets. They split. Dodgers lost the last 2 games. Obviously not really feeling too probably happy about that. They're coming into Chicago here. They're the best. The Dodgers are the best team on the road hitting wise. OPS, they have the best OPS, 7.764 on the road. The White Sox, on the other hand, are 29th, second last, with a .621 OPS at home. So for some reason, they're not hitting very well at home. The Dodgers are hitting very well on the road. Against right-handed pitchers, the Dodgers are number 1 in the league. The best OPS, 7.75. White Sox, 28th in the league, .622. So the White Sox are much better against lefties. They struggle against righties here. The numbers are telling me here the Dodgers. I'm taking the Dodgers in this one. Yes, the White Sox do have a pitching advantage. They do. They do have Kopech on the mound. He is better, or his numbers are at least are better than what Mitch White has done this year for the Dodgers. But I think the Dodgers are the better team. They're playing better baseball right now. They can hit on the road. White Sox can't hit at home. And I think ultimately hitting will outdo the pitching, and the Dodgers will win. I'm on the Dodgers money line, minus 120. And I also took their team total over 4.5 at plus 105. I like them to get 5 runs here. And I also did a 3-team parlay. Trey Turner, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman all to get a hit. So a same game parlay. And I got that for boosted up to plus 310. So I like those 3 players, basically the best 3 for the Dodgers to get some hits. I like the Dodgers to get some runs and to get the win here in Chicago. Nick, Dodgers, White Sox. What do you think here?
Yeah, this is a funky matchup. Obviously, these two teams play once every 3 years, so we haven't seen these 2 teams play in a little bit. Yeah, looking at that last series for the Dodgers, they win their first 2 games with Tyler Anderson and Tony Gonsolin taking on Chris Bassett and Tajon Walker. And then they go on to lose their last 2 games with Urias and Buehler versus David Peterson and Trevor Williams. Not only did the Mets beat the Dodgers the last 2 games of the series, they did it with the back end of their rotation with guys who come playoff time probably won't be starting. So I just think that says a little bit there about that end of the series. I have nothing in this game, honestly. I would lean towards the White Sox in this spot, strictly on the pitching matchup. I'm not a huge fan of Mitch White. I'm trying to see what Mitch White's done so far this year, like how the Dodgers have performed when he starts. His last start was the game they got swept against the Pirates. Previous to that, they won 14-1 against Arizona. They beat Philly 7-4. So Mitch White, He's not a pitcher that I'm looking to particularly back on the Dodgers, even though he's probably become the Tony Gonsolin of that rotation. Like in the beginning of the season, where if you ever want to back the Dodgers at an affordable price tag, it's probably with Mitch White on the mound. But I've got no opinion on this game. I just passed.
Hey, all right. Nothing wrong with passing. We'll go on here to the next one. The Blue Jays are in Kansas City. Minus 240 for the Blue Jays in this one, plus 200 for the Kansas City Royals, a total of 8.5. The Jays got a convincing 8-0 win yesterday. I'm surprised. Like I said, I went to bed early, waking up to see that the Jays did everything I needed them to do. I even had Guerrero to hit a home run and the Jays to win. A small little for fun parlay that cashed as well. So the Jays completely came through for me with Stripling on the mound. And now they get their ace. Yeah, I'm calling him their ace. Alek Manoah, 6-1 in the year, 1.98 ERA, is facing off against Keller, 1-6, 4.15 ERA. There's definitely a pitching advantage here for the Jays. Manoah, in his last game, you could consider it a bad game for him. He won. He got 6 hits in 7.2 innings, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. In a win, you could say that's a bad game for him. I look for him to kind of come out here and bounce back against the Kansas City Royals. They didn't score a run yesterday. I'm not saying that they're going to be kept off the board again here today. But I think if they do, I think the Kansas City gets 2 or less. So I don't know what the numbers on that prop would be. But for me, Toronto minus 1.5, which I got at minus 128. Pretty big bet on that. Toronto minus 2.5, which I got for plus 120. Toronto team total over 5, which I got at minus 114. I would take over 5.5 as well in this one. No issues. And then I also have another parlay, Manoah over 6.5 strikeouts, parlayed with the Blue Jays team total over 4.5. And then obviously Toronto money line involved in other parlays, which I'll get to after. But for me, it's go Blue Jays go. I'm going big on them again today. I think we see kind of a similar game to yesterday in this one. Nick, Blue Jays and Royals. I know the Blue Jays have gave you issues this year, but you have been cashing on them recently, right? So what do you think here, Blue Jays and Royals?
Yeah, first, real quick, and Tim just put this in the chat. Now it's about to read it before a little bit of breaking news in the MLB. Joe Madden was fired by the LA Angels in the midst of their 12-game losing streak. Phil Niven is named their interim manager. So there's a little bit of breaking news here on the show. But yeah, you were talking about Alek Manoah being the ace. You have to say that more confidently. I don't know who the hell else would be the ace on this staff.
Well, people think Gosman.
No, it's not. It's not. It's plain and simple. It's not. It's Manoah here, and he's someone who can be considered in the Cy Young Award. So this is a game where I took the Blue Jays run line last night. I got it at minus 115. It's now up to minus 135, minus 140 on some books. So I am on the Blue Jays run line. I also took their team total over 4.5 at minus 135 as well. I think they put up some runs tonight, at least 5. And then, because last night it was the first time in 9 games they didn't go over the total. So I think they go over again tonight. But I like the team total over for the Blue Jays more than a full game over because I don't know how many the Royals are going to contribute to that versus Manoah tonight. So I am on the Blue Jays on the minus 1.5. I got that at minus 115 last night.
All right.
And the team total.
I like it. To Tim's comment here about Joe Madden, that's interesting because when Philly fired their manager,
they're on a win streak now.
after 2 games, I said on the show after the 2 games there, I said, I wonder if the Angels, who are in a huge long losing streak, will consider the same thing. And they didn't, but now a couple days later, they finally did. Tim says Angels money line. I don't know who's on the mound for the Angels,
It
but
should be Reed Detmers and Garrett Whitlock is what I'm seeing. It's not obvious on my book. If you want to bet it, you'd list action because they don't have any listed pitchers for that. But I'm seeing Detmers and Whitlock. Don't confirm me on that though.
yeah, I haven't got to anything out of it yet. But obviously, the manager of Joe Madden being fired, we saw what it did for Philadelphia. I think,
And we saw this during the NHL season as well. Like we
yeah,
saw teams like Edmonton get off to a good start. We saw Montreal win a few games um, after they fired their head coach. Like we see once teams fire their head coach midseason, they get that little spark. It wakes up the team a little bit. It's like if a coach was ejected during a game or players drop the gloves during a hockey game. Like it energizes the team for a few games and then they go back to the way they were. So yes, now would be the time to back the Angels.
yeah. So we'll see. Jack said, "Oh wow."
Yeah.
A reporter was asking Madden if the team was quitting on him.
Huh.
And I guess we'll see if they come out and lose this game and don't really, if it kind of looks like the same Angels we've seen for a couple weeks, then maybe it wasn't the manager, but we'll have to see. Don't care who's pitching Angels money line for Tim.
Yeah,
All right.
here's how I would approach that game before anything else. It wouldn't be Angels money line. It would be if I have a prop. Yeah, there are props for this one. Cool. It would be. Let me see what the odds are for this one. Plus 250. Mike Trout to hit a home run. I think he's 0 for his last 32 or 33 right now. Like he's in an ultimate slump right now. So
Alex says Red Sox #1. Obviously, he is a Red Sox fan, so he's definitely hoping.
I was going to say no, not even close.
They're
They're like number 4 in the division.
Well, yeah. Jack says Edmonton kept it going.
Yeah, they did, but they did dip after that, and they did. Then when they went back to playing well, there was a noticeable dip after their initial surge.
Markel likes over in the Yanks game 8.5. We'll get to that in last pitch. That'll definitely be a game that I and Nick will talk about. So we'll get to that real shortly. The fourth game I chose before we go to last pitch. We'll have probably some disagreement here, which is going to be really surprising. I'm on, the New York Mets plus 110 are heading to San Diego minus 130. A total of 7.5 in this one. The Mets, like I said last night, I went to bed early. The Toronto came through for me. The Avalanche came through for me. And I also had a parlay that I put Mets and Blue Jays money line for plus 200. And that very easily cashed. The Mets definitely did their part. And now they're getting to face a pitcher, Yu Darvish, a pitcher that I do like to fade in certain spots. He either pitches really, really good or really, really bad. And now he is coming off a bad start in St. Louis, where he gave up 5 earned runs and 7 hits in 7.2 innings, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. But now he gets to face one of the best teams, best hitting teams against righties in the league. Let me get the exact numbers up here. Let me get it. Against righties, the Mets are number 2, behind only the LA Dodgers when it comes to OPS against righties. And the Mets also have the best average at .275 against righties. San Diego on the other side, .227, 27th in the league against righties, .643 OPS. I like the Mets here at underdog price. I have them full game. I got them at plus 110. Padres are a team that's made me money this year, and I don't exactly look to fade them. but with the New York Mets here, I like them. Nick, your team, the New York Mets, are in San Diego, facing the Padres. What do you think here?
As a Mets fan, I'm on the Padres' first 5 run line in this game. I got that at plus 110, and it's more of a fade of Tajon Walker because he's someone that I'm kind of expecting some regression from here. He has a really nice ERA and a decent whip in his last 28 days. But when you look at his advanced stats and what he does, he lets up too many runners. He has to work out of too many jams. And we saw this a little bit at the Dodgers last game that he pitched. And they ended up tagging him for 2 runs in the first 5, winning that first 5 2-0. And I think that the Padres can do the same in this game. I think they can get to Walker for a few runs and be leading at the end of 5 innings. And now I'm not a huge fan of that Padres bullpen, even though it's actually been pretty good this year. I do think the Mets have the edge in the bullpen. That's why I'm not taking the Padres full game in this one. But I do think that Yu Darvish has a decent start. He's looked better as of late. He was on a nice little run up until that last start, or he did give up 5 runs. But I think that Darvish has a decent game tonight, and the Padres are leading at the end of 5 innings. This is just more of a fade of Tajon Walker, expecting some negative regression from him more than anything else. So I'm on Padres, first 5 minus the half a run at plus 110.
All right, so we can both cash if the Mets come back at the end. But hey, if you told me we'd be disagreeing in the Mets game and I being on the Mets, I would have told you that's probably unlikely. But
yeah,
here we go. Last pitch, lots more picks here for me. The first game is currently delayed, I believe, still. It is not started.
I think it was pushed back.
Texas, Cleveland, if they play, they have 2 games to play today, so we'll see if that happens. But if they do play game 1 and the pitchers stay the same, I am on Cleveland money line. I was on Cleveland money line yesterday, going right back to it here. Cincinnati Reds, I'm taking them on the first 5 minus a half, plus 104. Pitching advantage, really big one here. Ashcraft for the Reds against the Diamondbacks, and I like Cincinnati to be leading after 5. Washington, Miami, Joan Adon is facing Cabrera for the Marlins. Cabrera coming off his first start of the year, a really good one. Miami, as I've said all year, surprisingly, is the 4th best team OPS against righties. So Miami is able to smash righties, and now they're getting to face Joan Adon in Miami. I think this is a great spot for Miami. I took them first 5 minus a half, minus 120. The St. Louis Cardinals, plus 135. And there's something I wanted to mention too that I forgot. When we broke down the Cubs game, the Cubs have been to Baltimore 6 times in the history of Cubs and Baltimore. They've been there 6 times. The Cubs are 5-1 in those 6 games. So they've only lost 1 game.
Games?
Yeah. They've been there 6 times since both teams were becoming since they were both.
I wonder if they just played most of the time at Wrigley.
Yeah. That's
mind-boggling because both those teams have been around for decades.
I know. I looked up because I'm starting to look up that stat is how teams do against these teams that they're facing. And
it's tough with those interleague matchups though, because they play once every 3 years, and then as you mentioned, there are only 6 games in 80 years.
Yeah, that's why it's not a bet on this because of this stat. But I thought it was interesting that they've only lost once in Baltimore in their history. But I'll continue on. St. Louis Cardinals. I'm on them here as an underdog at plus 135. They're good against righties facing Springs. Probably a pitching advantage for the Rays, but I'm going to take the underdog Cardinals that have been playing pretty well as of late. The Yankees game, obviously, it is Sands on the mound for Cole Sands for Minnesota, which was just recently announced. Obviously, he got off to a really rough game, his last game against Detroit. 4 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, and 4 walks. So that's not a very good game. And now he gets to face the Yankees. The Yankees have dominated the Minnesota Twins for years now. They're 5-1 in their last 6 in Minnesota. This Yankees team is better now than they have been the last few years. So I'm taking them. And not to mention what Jameson Taillon has done on the mound in his last 3 games. He hasn't given up more than 1 earned run in his last 2 games. He has 2 hits in each game in 8 innings, no walks, 1 earned run against LA, and then 5 strikeouts in both games. He's been pitching amazing, and now he gets to face a Minnesota team that struggles against the Yankees. So I have a pretty big bet on the Yankees first 5 minus a half, which I got a plus 100, which is absolutely insane. And as well, Yankees minus 1.5 at plus 114, which is also pretty crazy. Seattle, I'm taking Seattle plus 1.5, which I got a minus 105. Yeah, it's Verlander. And yes, it is. I'm blanking on Flexen. Yeah, Flexen. When these two teams faced in their last matchup, Flexen pitched amazing and Verlander got lit up. Houston lost yesterday. I'm not trusting them here. Yes, they have their ace on the mound, but the previous matchup, Seattle got to him. So no, I don't think they're going to get to him again like they did last game. But I think Seattle plus 1.5, minus 105 is a really good price. So I'm on that. San Francisco Giants minus 1.5. They're 7-1 in their last 8 at home against Colorado. Not a very good spot for the Rockies. It's Marquez against Rodon. Yeah, Rodon hasn't been his usual lights out self, but Marquez is definitely not pitching very well at all this year, and I think it's a good spot for him to get lit up. So those are all my single bets. A parlay I did: Atlanta, New York Yankees, Toronto, San Francisco, all on the money line, plus 526. And then my best bet, which I'll give out early, and my favorite bet of the night, a 2-team parlay, the Yankees and the Toronto Blue Jays, both on the money line, which you're able to find for plus 144, which I think is pretty crazy. That's it for me in baseball. I know a lot. It's hopefully it's going to be a good night. I like a lot of picks today. Nick, I'm pretty sure you've some more that you like on the card as well.
Mm-hmm. Interesting comment there from Tim. LA Sparks fired their head coach in the WNBA. Their head coach was former Los Angeles Laker Derek Fisher. So he was fired. It's going to be Fred Williams taking over as the interim coach there. I know everybody's super into the WNBA in this chat, so thanks for that update there, Tim. But yeah, I like this slate a lot too. I like that Cincinnati first 5 play. I did take that first 5 minus the half. The Arizona bats have been quiet lately, and I expect that to continue today against Ashcroft. Miami, I'm full fade Jonah Don. That's a triple up spot for me. First 5 full game run lines. I also took the team total over 4.5 at minus 105 for the Marlins. So I do like this Marlins team to take care of business today. I am on the Guardians money line for game 1 if that game does get played. I like a little bit of Tigers today. First 5 in full game run lines backing Tariq Skubal. It's something I do like. He's been unreal lately and probably someone I'll look to consider next year for a Cy Young Award ticket. The way he's pitching this year, and I think he's able to keep that up. He's a good pitcher there. A good young pitcher that's developing really well. I like Tampa Bay tonight. First 5 in full game run lines. I like the pitching advantage with Jeffrey Springs and Dakota Hudson. Similar to Tejon Walker, is someone I'm looking to regress. His advanced numbers are way worse than what his basic numbers are right now. And when I say basic numbers, I just look at like ERA and their WHIP. When you compare that to like their FIP and their Sierra and their BABIP, you should see a major regression here from Dakota Hudson, who has the highest Sierra on the slate, as well as the lowest strikeout numbers on the slate. The guy doesn't strike anybody out. And when you have that situation with a Tampa Bay team that puts the ball in play a decent amount, I don't like that combination for Dakota Hudson. So I am on the Rays first 5 and full game run lines. And then I'm also on the Giants run line, and I like that over 8 as well. The winds are blowing out, and I expect the Giants to be able to put up some runs against German Marquez, which I got to keep reminding myself this season that German Marquez was the all-star for the Colorado Rockies last year, because I keep forgetting that because he's been that bad this year. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at in the MLB tonight.
All right. Markel likes that over 8 as well. Yeah. As long as Rodon gives up a couple as well, as long as he gives up 1 or 2, then the over should be good.
Yeah.
We'll go on to the hockey game here. The Rangers are heading to Tampa Bay, plus 160 for the Rangers, minus 180 for Tampa Bay. Total 5.5 in this one. The poll, pretty interesting results here. The last game, it was heavy results for Tampa. This time, the Rangers, 53.8% say take the Rangers, 26.9% say Tampa and Reg, 11.5% say take the over, and 7.7% are on the under in this one. Tampa and Rangers the last game. Rangers led for most of the game, was tied there for a bit. Tampa got a goal really late, I believe in the last minute, and was able to win the game. I'm not superly impressed by that. Tampa Bay in a must-win game, 2-time champs. I expected them to come out strong in the first period, which they did not. They did for the first couple minutes, but then the Rangers held them at bay. And while out shooting the Rangers, they still just barely won that game. So for me here, I just, the odds are the same in this one, plus 160 for the Rangers, minus 180 for Tampa. And I still think that's a little bit disrespectful to the Rangers, who are definitely in this series. And as I said earlier on in the series, I did predict that they will win the Stanley Cup, and they would break Tampa's comeback, 17-0 comeback streak. And I did say they'll win in 5 games. So that means they got to win tonight, and then they got to win in the next game at home. And I think they do that. So I'm on New York Rangers money line plus 160 in this one. And I'm also on Zibanejad to score, Kucherov to score, and New York Rangers plus 2.5 for a same game parlay, plus 625. And I like the Rangers to get the job done here and head back home with a 3-1 lead. Nick, Rangers and Lightning, what do you think in this one?
I'm just sitting back and wondering how long the New York Rangers can continue to get outshot, outplayed, and outchanced and get bailed out by Igor every freaking game. They're 10-7 this postseason. When you look at expected goals, they should be 4-13. They've been absolutely dominated, road or home, when you look at expected goal stats. When you look on the road here in the whole playoffs on the road, 32.21 to 24.61. The opponents are leading expected goals, and overall they've been outchanced by around 21 expected goals, home or road. This is a New York Rangers team that continuously gets outshot and outchanced, gets a couple power plays, scores, and has Igor stand on his head. I don't think that's not going to last. And if it was going to last, they needed to shut the door last game. They needed to hold that lead, and they needed to put that finishing blow on Tampa Bay. I think they're gonna regret not holding that lead. And when this series goes back to New York, tied 2-2 after the Lightning win rather convincingly tonight, the New York Rangers are going to start to panic a little bit, because I think this is a series where Don't get me wrong. I'll probably have a ticket next year saying the New York Rangers win the Stanley Cup. This is not their year, though, in my opinion. And this will be a good learning experience for them as the team that's been there, done that, takes over the series. And this becomes the business end of the series. This is where Tampa Bay kicks it into gear. And this is where they take over the series. Looking at Andrei Vasilevsky at home this playoffs, 5-1, a 1.91 goals allowed average, a 942 save percentage. He's been amazing at home here. And the Rangers do not impress me on the road. When we look at their first couple of series, they lost game 3 and game 4 by margin against Pittsburgh, but they won game 6. In Carolina, they lost game 1 and game 2 and game 5. They won game 7 when their backs were up against the wall. This series, they lost game 3. Well, pattern says they lose this game as well. And if they're going to win a game against Tampa Bay, it'll be if they're down 3-2 in the series in game 6. Because this team does not win a road game unless they have to. And I don't think they are going to this game. And this is a spot here where I think 4-1 Tampa Bay, something along those nights tonight. So, and yes, I don't mind Igor's shot prop because the Rangers are going to get outshot tonight. I would almost guarantee we look at the end of the night, shots on goal, Tampa Bay has at least 10 more than New York tonight, if not 15 or 20. This is a Tampa Bay team that put 52 shots on goal in last game against New York, and this is I don't see this continuing for Igor. Yes, I get it. Igor's very good, but I think that this is a spot where the Rangers got to stop relying on him for everything this playoffs. They've been absolutely dominated this entire playoffs. So I'm on the Lightning to get it done rather convincingly tonight. 4-1 -1.5.
All right. I will say that I disagree with that they've got dominated all playoffs long. I would disagree with that statement.
You want to look at
you can look at expected goals, but the expected goals don't always say they don't always say everything. You can tell by watching.
That Igor's stealing games. That's what it shows.
Well, he's stealing games, and the Rangers are winning, and the Rangers are moving on. So they've done well so far. I think he can continue to steal games. I don't see anything changing in this one. So I definitely think there's value on the Rangers, but we're both entitled to our opinion, and as is everyone watching. Cooch and Stammer, 4+ shots, parlay plus 392. I want to talk you off it. Like Nick said, the Tampa Bay at home, they definitely should have more than 10 shots, 10 shots more against the Rangers playing at home.
Absolutely.
In front of their
even crowd. On the road at MSG, I think they would do the same thing.
I disagree.
Yes.
Bulls need to bust out the Igor Chan in the first period. I don't think that's going to stop him, not just expected goals. Yeah, well, Rangers have done well, so we'll see what happens. But we'll go on to best bets. Best bets segment here. And I have to.
By the way, 1-0 Rangers against the Guardians.
Yeah, I saw that, which kind of sucks, but luckily it is early and lots of time. And that one, unless he took something in the first inning.
Nope.
1 second here, my screen kind of just froze. Everything looked good on your end, Nick?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because everything just kind of disappeared. All my StreamYard stuff kind of disappeared, which is really kind of freaky, but okay. Well, I can't bring up the banners, so we'll just have to leave it as is. But best bets, best parlay pieces. We'll start with dog of the day. For me, it's New York Rangers. Tim, it's the Chicago White Sox. Brian is taking the St. Louis Cardinals. Occupancy is with me, taking the New York Rangers. And Manny is taking the Chicago White Sox as his dog of the day here. Over or under. For me, no totals today. There weren't any totals that I liked. Nick, you're taking San Francisco, Colorado over 8.
Mm-hmm.
Tim is taking Pittsburgh, Detroit under 7. Bryant is taking the Mets in San Diego over 7.5. Occupancy taking Texas Cleveland game 1 under 8, currently underway. And Manny's taking Toronto Kansas City under 9 for his over under. Best bet, best parlay piece for me: Yankees money line, Toronto money line plus 144. Best parlay piece: Blue Jays money line. Nick, you're going with Tampa Bay puck line plus 155 is your best bet. Tampa Bay money line is your parlay piece. Tim is taking the White Sox minus 1.5. He does like them to beat the Dodgers today, plus 200. And Atlanta Braves money line as his parlay piece. Brian is taking the Yankees minus 1.5, parlayed with St. Louis Cardinals money line for plus 349 as his best bet. Braves money line as his parlay piece. Occupancy is going Texas in game 2, team total over 3. And New York Rangers team total over 2.5 for plus 221. Rangers money line as his parlay piece. And Manny is taking LA Angels plus 1.5 as his best bet. And New York Rangers first period money line as his parlay piece. Best luck to everybody tonight. Smash like button if you are new to the channel. Smash like button if you appreciate all the support. If you like the content, we appreciate all the support. And we will see you again for another episode of Getting Wild with Terry and Friends tomorrow. Best of luck, guys, and have a good one. Yeah, Nick, I can't exit. I can't end the stream, so you might as well just
You can't?
No. Literally, like, everything's gone. But yeah, I'll just exit out and then come back.
Right. Yeah, I think you can do that through YouTube Studio or something like that. You can end the stream that way.
Oh, okay. It's weird, but okay.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
Go through YouTube Studio through the live streaming tab.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
All right.